Okay, good morning children. Today we'll discuss second chapter, that is nutrition in animals. So we in the first chapter we have discussed about nutrition in plants. We'll go for nutrition in animals. So this is another important part of nutrition. First one is nutrition in plants. The second one is nutrition in animals. Okay. So nutrition in animals, especially, so it is a basic need. Nutrition in animals, especially a nutrition word, is a basic need either for plants or for a animal. So it is a one of the basic need. Okay, if proper nutrition is not there for a animal, definitely we'll call malnutrition. So it is not getting a proper nutrients. That is why it will have some deficiency. Okay, so we'll learn about nutrition in animals. First, animal nutrition. What is the definition of a nutrition? The mode of taking a food by organism and utilization in the body is called nutrition. The process of taking a food and utilizing it in the body is called nutrition. So only taking food is not enough. So it has to be utilized properly in the body, then it is called as a completely nutrition. Animal get their food directly or indirectly from the plants. So as I told you, directly means some animals will, like herbivorous animal, eat plants directly. Okay, and they are dependent on plants directly. Some carnivorous animal will eat herbivorous animal because it depends on herbivorous animal. It will not eat directly a plant, but it eat herbivorous animal. So this is how indirectly dependent. Animal nutrition includes nutrients requirements, mode of taking food, and its utilization in the body. Okay, first in that we'll learn about what we call it as process. So as I told you, the stages of nutrition in animal will be 5 stages: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, egestion. So these are the 5 important points to be remembered in the animal nutrition. First one, as I told you, ingestion. Ingestion means the mode of taking a food is ingestion. The process of taking a food is ingestion. Okay, so digestion means the process by which complex food substances are broken down into simpler substances is called digestion. So digestion is the second stage. First one is ingestion. Process of taking food is ingestion. The process of digesting food is a digestion. Okay, different ways of taking food. So as I told you, ingestion step will be there in all the organisms. The different ways of taking food is here list is given: name of an animal and a kind of a food and mode of a feeding. So here list is given. Snail, when it comes to snail, so kind of food it is going to take is grass. It is going, mode of feeding is chewing, so it is going to chew it. And it depends on insects. Kind of food is, it is called scrapping, we call it as a scrapping. Eagle, so it depends on flesh, means meat. It is a swallowing type of feeding. So hummingbird, nectar sucking. Lice, blood sucking. Mosquito sucks blood, sucking. Butterfly, nectar sucking. Housefly, decaying matter, so it depends on decaying matter. We call it as a breathing. So here you can, in the picture you can see how the insects or the animals are taking a food. So you can notice in the picture that the mode of taking food from the surrounding. So small animals will take food in a smaller quantity. Big animals will take food in a bigger quantity. That is how mode of nutrition will be different in different organisms. Okay, in the picture you can see, notice a snail will be there, ant will be there, eagle. Okay, so insect is sucking a blood, housefly is there, butterfly is there. So these are the pictures of what animals. So next comes the digestion in human. So this is an important part of a chapter, that is a digestion in the human. So in the what we call it as a picture, a beautiful digestive system you can see. So just look at the buccal cavity. So starts from mouth, we call it as a buccal cavity. After the buccal cavity, the colored part, that is a salivary gland, because salivary gland salivary gland produces a saliva. Okay, so on an average per day, it is an healthy person is going to secrete 1.5 liter of saliva per day. Then after saliva, you can see what we call it as food pipe or esophagus. There is a pipe called as a esophagus or a food pipe. You can see a narrow tube. It is called food pipe or a esophagus. So this food pipe or esophagus connected to the stomach. So yellow color, you can see that is a like half moon shape, that is a stomach. Okay, from the stomach, then it is further you can see ice cream like structure called a liver, and below that you can see green color part, that is a pancreas. So these are the two important organs. Further, this will be connected to large intestine and small intestine. Okay, at the end you can see rectum and anus. Okay, rectum and anus. So small intestine is having a narrow tube like structure, and it is a bigger in size, say around 6 meter long it is. Whereas large intestine have a bigger diameter, it is around 1.5 meter length. Okay. The main parts you can notice in the picture. So this all together, all these parts will involve in the digestion of food in human. So if any problem occurs to any of this part, then digestion is hampered. It cannot means digestion will not takes place properly. For example, if any problem in a buccal cavity, person will not take a food. Okay, so if a person is not have means if a person is having a fever, so during that fever, no salivary secretion by the salivary gland, so you will not feel hungry. Okay, when you are ill. Okay, then food pipe, it is all, it has to be work, it has to be there in a proper way only. If any damage or any ulcers or any problem in the esophagus, person if they take food, there will be a burning sensation or a pain will come. Okay, then stomach. Okay, if acidity occurs, how we feel, we will not feel comfortable. Okay, so stomach should be in a normal condition. Liver, okay, which helps in detoxification, means it is a very important organ in the body. Okay, detoxification means it is going to remove the toxics. Okay, that is why it is called detoxification process. You will study it in higher classes. Okay, then when it comes to pancreas, pancreatic juice will be secreted. Okay, and even you will be knowing about insulin. Okay, insulin is must and should in the body. Okay, that insulin converts glucose in the which is present in the blood, and maintains the sugar level in the body. If insulin is not secreted by this pancreas, then definitely we call it as diabetes or sugar. Okay, so person will not be, we call it as a diabetic patient. Okay, so this is digestion. After that, the digested food goes to the in large intestine and small intestine, where it is absorbed, and assimilation process will also takes place. And at the end, the waste product is stored in rectum, and it is thrown out of the body through the anus. So this is how a digestive system in human beings. Okay, so the as I told you, the first step, that is the digestion, mouth and buccal cavity. This is the most important, because the in the 5 stages of nutrition, first one is a digestion, where mouth is the important organ, or buccal cavity comes in the category of means under the digestion. So food is taken into the body through the mouth. This process is called ingestion. Okay, in the mouth, food is broken down into smaller pieces by the teeth. Okay, teeth is a plural, tooth is a singular. The mouth has salivary glands which secrete saliva. So mouth is going to secrete a saliva. Thus the saliva breaks down starch into sugar. Saliva breaks down starch into sugars. That is why digestion begins in the mouth, not in the stomach. Okay, we usually call the process of digestion begins in the mouth because the digestion of starch, the digestion of carbohydrate starts in the mouth itself. Okay, the tongue helps to mix the food with the saliva and swallow the food. Tongue is also very important, saliva is also very important. At the same, teeth are also important. And tongue, as I told you, tongue has a taste buds to detect different tastes of food. The different regions of the tongue detect different tastes. So you just look at the picture. Okay, starting sweet, so the tip of a teeth will help us to identify the sweetness. Next comes salty. Next, behind that, sour. At the end, you can see bitter. That is why, so if you take a tablets, okay, you feel bitter when it passes, when it goes at the end of your tongue. Okay, so that is why bitter taste can be observed. So if you keep the what we call it as normally tablet on the tip of your tongue, you will not feel that much. But when it goes to the last part of a tongue where bitter is identified, okay, bitter is been identified. So teeth, as I told you, so different means we have around 32 teeth. Okay, we call those teeth are permanent. So in when below 8 years there will be a milk teeth. Milk teeth will not be a permanent, it will fall down definitely. That is why we call it as a temporary teeth. But permanent teeth are the one which are very important. So four types of teeth are incisor, canine, premolar and molar. So what these important teeth will do? First one, incisor. Incisor help in biting and cutting the food. So the starting you can see incisor, in the picture you can see incisors which helps in biting and cutting the food. Canines, canines helps in piercing and tearing the food. So canines are strong in carnivorous animal because carnivorous animal will eat flesh. Okay, I think you might have seen lion and tiger. So when it opens mouth, you can see canine only. Canines are very pointed because it will tear what we call it as a flesh. Premolar and molars which help in chewing and grinding the food. So here table is given, type of teeth, incisor, canine, premolar. Okay, the number of teeth, so lower jaw, upper jaw, you can see incisor 4 at the lower, in upper 4, so total 8. Canines 2 below, 2 above, that is 4. Premolars and molars 10 plus 10, 20. Total it is on an average it is 32 teeth are present in the mouth of a adult. So the food pipe, as I told you, esophagus. So in the picture I think you might have seen, the food pipe passes along the neck and chest. Swallowed food is pushed down by a movement of the walls of the food pipe into the stomach. So this is, I told you, there is a peristaltic movement. So as and when if you take a food into the mouth, this will be made into a small ball like structure, we call it as bolus. That bolus will go to the esophagus. From there it is means muscles will undergo contraction and relaxation, and food passes through the esophagus and falls into the stomach. Okay, this is a food pipe or esophagus. Then stomach. Stomach secretes a digestive juices, especially the digestive juice secreted by the stomach is HCl, that is a hydrochloric acid, and mucus. It is also called gastric juice. It is also called gastric juice. Because of a mucus, the stomach will not dissolve by a even by a strong HCl which is present in the stomach. But strong HCl is needed in the body, especially in the stomach, because it helps in proper digestion and kills microorganisms. So that is why acidic nature in the stomach is must and should. Okay, mucus protects the walls of the stomach from the acid which is present in the stomach. So that is why if excess of acid produced in the stomach, we will not feel comfortable because burning sensation will come. Okay, for that what we will do, we'll take a base to neutralize the excess of acid produced in the stomach. Then small intestine. The small intestine is a long coiled tube. It receives secretion from the liver and pancreas. Very, very important. It also secretes digestive juices also. Okay, so it is going to receive the juices secreted by the liver and pancreas, and also it secretes a digestive juice. The liver is the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice which is stored in the gallbladder. It breaks down fats. It breaks down fats. So this is the largest organ in the body, and it has a power of regeneration. If a liver is been cut, part of a liver is been cut, again that part will develop, means it will grow. This is the only organ which have a power of regeneration in our body. Other than this, no any other part will grow even after cut. If a finger is cut, you cannot get a new finger. Okay, like, but liver has got a capacity of power of regeneration. Pancreatic secretions, secretes a pancreatic juice which breaks down carbohydrates and protein. So pancreatic juice help in digestion of especially carbohydrates and proteins. The intestinal juices completes the digestion of the starch into glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol, and proteins into the amino acids. So this is how the complex food is being digested into simpler ones. Absorption. So the another stage of nutrition, that is the absorption of digested food in the small intestine. The digested food is absorbed by the walls of the small intestine. This process is called absorption. The small intestine has several finger like projections called villi. Villi having a blood vessels. The villi helps to increase the surface area for absorption. The absorbed material are carried by the blood to the different parts of the body and used by the body. This is called assimilation. So after absorption, the whatever the necessary nutrients are there, that has to be assimilated in the body by a process called assimilation. Okay, wherever it is necessary, it is been given to the that part by the body. This process we call assimilation. The undigested food then passes into the large intestine. So it goes to the large intestine. Okay, undigested food. Okay, so that is nothing but a waste only. Okay, then large intestine. The large intestine, so in picture you can see villi, that is a finger like projections which helps in absorption. Okay, then large intestine, in the large intestine water and some salts are uh, absorbed. Remaining waste then passes to the rectum and remains there as feces. Okay, then it is removed through the anus from time to time. This process is called egestion. The last stage of nutrition is egestion. So large intestine is going to absorb water and some salts which are present in the food which is sent by the small intestine. Okay, then digestion in grass eating animals, we call it as a ruminants. Okay, grass eating animals like cows, buffaloes quickly swallow the grasses and store it in the separate part of a stomach called rumen. Okay, these animals will store, first it will eat everything. Okay, continuously it eat, but it will store that food in the rumen. Here the food is partly digested. Whatever the food that is kept in the rumen, it is partly, not completely, it is partly digested and is called cud. Cud. Then cud is brought back to the mouth and in the small lumps and chewed. So what happens, from the rumen it is taken back. So this animal has a capacity to take it back into a small lumps and it starts chewing. That is why I think you might have seen, so buffaloes and cows always chew Okay, whenever it is standing after complete eating, it is going to stand somewhere, so it starts eating because it has kept undigested or partly digested food in the rumen. It, whenever time gets, it will take it back and it will crush it. That is the capacity you can see only in ruminants. Okay, this process is called rumination. This entire process is called rumination. The chewed food then passes into the sac-like structure between the small intestine and large intestine. Okay, so that is how the digestion process is going to take place in the ruminants. The cellulose in the grass is digested with the help of some bacteria, especially that bacteria name is a cellulase. Okay, in a herbivorous animal or ruminants, there is a enzyme called bacteria called that is a cellulase. Okay, that enzyme which helps in digestion of cellulose. That is why we people, human beings, cannot digest grass fiber, especially we cannot digest properly, but grass and all is digested by the what these ruminants. If cellulase enzyme is present in our body, then definitely we would have taken grass also. Okay, we had a capacity to digest that also. That is why we are not going to eat. But I think you might have seen some animals like dog and cat will eat grass. Okay, if it is eating grass means it is having acidity problem, so it is having acidity problem is there for those animals also. And that is why especially this dog will eat grass completely. After some time it omits. Okay, grass is going to be a kind of what we call it as a antacid, natural antacid to the stomach of a dog, and it will not be retained because it cannot be digested by the dog even, and it is omitted back. Even cat will omit, then dog will omit. Okay, if those animals are eating grass means definitely they have acidity problem. Okay, they are not feeling comfortably. Okay, that is why they will eat and they will feel better afterwards. Feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba, I told you, it is the smallest single cellular living organism, microscopic. Okay, but the process of feeding is also very, and digestion is also very simple. What happens? Amoeba is a single celled organism found in pond water. The cells has a cell membrane. Okay, parts you can see is a cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. The cytoplasm has many bubble-like vacuoles. The cell has finger-like projections called pseudopodia. It is also called a false leg or feet, which helps to move and capture food. It helps in capturing food. It helps in movement also, locomotion also. It is going to help. When the amoeba comes near the food particles, pseudopodia is produced around the food particles, and the food particles is trapped in the food vacuole. In the food vacuole, the food is digested by the digestive enzymes and absorbed. The undigested waste is then sent out by the vacuole, so it has to be thrown out by the vacuole. So from the body it is again thrown back. This is how a simple process. In amoeba is a unicellular. You do not see any well developed what we call it as organ system, or what we call it as systems. That is why in a simple way it will take food, digest, and it will throw it out. Okay, thank you.